Hello out there, gentle podcast listeners. Welcome to Thrones of Game. This is the Game of Thrones podcast where we watch the series backwards. If you've never heard the show before, well, let me explain there, friend. My name is BT Calloway. I've already seen the entire show, and joining me is Elliot Jay O'Neill, the man who had never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones until we started watching in reverse order. Elliot, how you doing there?
Doing my impression of Maester Paul Kelly.
Yeah, he has such a sad moment. Yes, we just watched Season 2, Episode 7, entitled entitled A Man Without Honor. For those of you playing at home, this is the one where where Sansa gets a period, and Elliot Jay O'Neill, what just happened?
I learnt that Theon fucking sucks.
Yeah, Theon sucks.
Wow.
You didn't already know that?
He was just always a blubbering...
True, you've always seen broken
traumatized...
Theon, and now you're seeing back together Theon, and now you're seeing, like, the fall, basically.
Yeah, and, I wouldn't say he deserved what he got, but fucking, I'm glad someone cut him down to size. Really poor choice of words on my part there. But also his. I don't want people to think I'm a eunuch.
It's like, dude, you've started. I thought that's what, is that what he said? No, surely not. It's like, yeah, at least I didn't stop and wink at the camera there. That would have been too much.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I'll just dive right into this because I'm not sure how much more introduction we can muster out of this one. What was your MVP?
My MVP...
The most valuable part.
I really, really fucking enjoyed the scene between Arya and Tywin.
Yeah, no, this was very good as well. Like, it's a bit weird because he starts off by being all like, someone attempted to poison me and I want this person found and killed. And at the end of the scene, he's all like, I know you're not a common girl and you're actually just pretending to be. He's like, maybe you should have put two and two together. Here's someone you know isn't who they say they are and someone just tried to kill you. Maybe figure that one out. I don't know. But I agree. Very good scene.
But yeah, I mean, and again, choice of words on my part, there's a dance happening here, and he, feels like he's leading the dance, and then Arya's like, she dips him, and he's like, careful now, girl.
Yeah.
I just really love the back and forth happening here. There's just layers of subtext, and both actors are fucking killing it. Fucking damn. And especially, God, precocious little Maisie Williams here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't think they actually have any other scenes together other than the ones we'll have how she got in this situation.
Yeah. But,
in the latter seasons, they don't. It's a very good pairing. They have such an interesting dynamic going on. And, the bit where she's, clutching a knife, kind of staring at his neck, going, your neck is very high and I'm very short.
Yeah.
However...
No, it does make me kind of sad for Maisie as well, that she really didn't get to play with many people over the course of the show when you think about it.
Yeah, true. A lot of the dude and just being hit by sticks and blind, and then came back and I'm a cold badass. I'm not going to say anything other than just give glares. And we were having fun with this character. We also get another glimpse of different mountain.
So did we solve this mystery?
I didn't look it up because that's not the way this works. PvP.
I was about to ask about the Tommen mystery as well.
Yeah, no, I didn't look that up either. I say I do, and then I don't. That's my shtick, apparently. But he calls him Clegane. He's very tall. He's never referenced it, and it's got to be the mountain before they found the mountain. I feel like I know why they replaced him. This guy is tall, but he's not big. He's not really. It looks a little bit like he might be on stilts or on a stool or something.
His voice is also comically low.
Yeah, not so awesome bassy. It's too bassy. Wow.
But it doesn't look like it's coming from him.
Yeah, he's got that kind of problem. Despite his size, it does not look like that voice belongs to that guy.
Yeah.
So whether he's actually pitching down or whether they've, I know helium raises your voice. I forget what lowers it, but there are ones.
Bromine? No, that might be poison. Anyway, but it's I don't
know
if you've
bromine.
if you've ever seen the new Wiggles, the new lineup.
Do they have a super bassy dude?
They have a bassy dude, and it's he's tall and it's much the same as him, but he's just this sort of blonde, smiley dude, and then just all of a sudden he's like, fucking Henry the Octopus.
Hot potato. Yeah, that's... does it fit as is he just doing the bass parts of their harmonies or something?
Yeah.
Because as long as it fits when they're performing, I guess that's fine. But yeah, that's a little bit, hello, children.
Yeah.
Bassy voices are kind of inherently intimidating, so...
Yeah, I didn't think the Wiggles, who are
the
objectively...
Beatles of our generation.
The Beatles of children's entertainment.
Yep.
I didn't think I needed the lower harmony, but there you go.
Yeah, Lucy in the sky with a big red car.
Nice.
Yeah, I was hoping I could get to the end of that joke because I didn't have the ending before when I started it. So,
Baby, you can drive my big red car.
Nice, that was better. Yeah, and then Tywin has a whole line of like, do you know what a legacy?
Oh, I'd like to be in Henry's octopus's garden in the shade.
There we go. Yes, actually, there's a tangent beyond here.
Wiggles beetles.
Beetle wigs. No, we'll figure it out later. Yeah, where Tywin's all like, you know what a legacy is? It's what you pass to your children and to your children's children. And then, I'd like to bring in our very first bit of Hamilton talk of, do you know what a legacy is? It's planting seeds in a garden you'll never see. That's a much better quote. Thank you very much, Tywin. But then, Arya goes on about the legends of dragons and the Targaryens who rode them, and one of them had a sword she called Dark Sister, and I'm like, that is a much better name than Heart Eater Joffrey, you stupid dick. There's some subtlety to that. Or Widow's Wail. That guy sucks.
Yeah. I did enjoy the chat, and especially with Arya going, and his sisters, and then, Tywin all being like, oh, I'm sure I knew that once upon a time.
Yeah, back when I was little and cared about stories about dragons, you didn't outsmart me.
Careful now. Oh, it was so delicious.
Yeah, like when she just takes it that step too far, and he's like, I enjoy your company, but I won't tell you, I'm not above kicking you out and hanging you.
And even when she tries to throw it back at him, my mother, right, taught me how to speak proper, my lord.
Properly.
Yeah, that's right.
And I do like that you're not quite sure if he believes her either. Like, it's a good bit, yeah. It was well scripted, well acted, great stuff all around.
So yeah, two-way tie for MVP for those two.
Yeah, I didn't have anything like that overwhelmed me for an MVP because that was on my short list. So was just the Hound and Sansa crossing in the hall, and she tries to be nice, like, oh, I've never thanked you for helping me, and he's all like, oh, I just killed people for shits and gigs. Helping you is secondary. Yeah. Except does it in a far more scowly Hound way than that.
I'm kind of glad that we got the Hound that we did later on, because around these episodes I felt he's fairly one note.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's good. I mean, season 2 is when you still have them a bit more one-dimensional, and then you bring out some depth over time. That's good.
Yeah. It's just like, I like killing things.
I really like it. And she's like, oh, why are you such a hateful man? He has a good quote of, oh, you'll be glad for that hatefulness when I'm all that's standing between you and your loving husband. It's like, ooh, damn. Yeah, so that's actually kind of a good undertone through a few scenes in this one, is this kind of pending doom for Sansa of marrying Joffrey, because that relates to later on when her, red rose is blooming for the first time, which means she can have children, so she can now marry him, and it's all like, and it's just a good undertone of this sense of that impending doom that is getting ever closer and closer no matter what.
Yeah, she actually deserves an MVP for this episode as well. And I loved, I didn't love, I mean, it's kind of hard to watch, but like Shay's reaction, oh dear, it's okay. No, don't you know what this means? Oh fuck,
shit. Help me flip the mattress. And then that other girl, so she kind of runs up, is like, where are you going? To tell the queen that Sansa has become a woman. It's like, how about you don't, bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good bit. Good old Shay before everything went horribly wrong with her. This is what I'm still curious about, because she seems to be a very good person on this side of, the seasons. And then later on when we find out she's a traitor, it's like, where was the flip? I'm confused. I just want to know.
Watching him backwards probably doesn't help, but still.
Doesn't help. Well, it reveals more. And again, this is one of those I want to know, but I'm not mad they didn't show me or spell it out in black and white. I enjoy the mystery. It's just a little... Still, I'm curious, and it's a good curious.
I will say, just like a slight MVP for the show, like, I don't get many surprises going backwards, obviously, but that they used this episode and they ended it like, well, it wasn't the last scene, it was the second to last scene of the lady fucking...
Catelyn Stark.
Thank you. It was a Stark.
Yeah.
Sorry, there were lots of last names getting thrown around in this, and I'll be asking for clarification on a bunch of shit later. But for now, the Lady Stark pulling out her sword, and that's where they left that. And then the next episode, it was revealed.
She freed Jaime, and
yeah, I thought that was a very good choice of the show.
Yeah, it does make me wonder what she was doing, though. It's like, ask Brienne of Tarth for her sword, and then cuts away. It's like, what were you doing? Oh, I was just looking at the sword and then going to hand it back to Brienne and say, take the Kingslayer to King's Landing and get my daughters back, please. I just wanted to look at it, and be like, oh, look, it's a sword. It looks like a T. That means T for take him to King's Landing.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever their link was. But yeah, I agree. And especially also with the very last shot of this episode is Theon raising up these two charcoal bodies, and you're meant to believe it's Bran and Rickon. And the show definitely hides that very well, because they think they've cornered them at this farm when they find the walnuts. Like, this is proof for somehow. So we, the audience, believe, that's proof they're hiding here somewhere. And then when you see the charcoal bodies, like, okay, they found them. Whereas then you find out later that no, they doubled back and they're hiding in in Winterfell.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of walnuts. This must be Hodor. Like,
yeah, it's like, is he known for? We never see him hoeing into walnuts ever again.
These nuts were not crushed by your standard regular nutcracker.
No, you can see there's clearly a hand of a very large man. There's only one man I know who cracks walnuts by hand. Hodor. These are the things I know about people. Yeah, bit weird. But again, I enjoy the misdirect, because that was genuinely oh shit, that really happened? Oh wow, kind of moment. But then it all fits together in the retrospect.
And so just to go over this a bit, I had no idea that Jaime was the one who crippled Bran.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that. It's going to take some time. But yeah, it was Jaime.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
You bastard.
He's a bastard. Man, what were my other potential MVPs?
So he's the one that killed Ned Stark as well?
No, not exactly.
So who's the king that he slayed?
Okay, so the king before Robert Baratheon, who dies earlier, who's also already dead. It was it Aegon? I can't remember, a Targaryen dude who was burning everybody alive and absolutely insane. And even though Jaime was sworn to be a Kingsguard and protect him with his life, was like, this dude's out of his fucking mind, and stabs him in the back.
Ah, right.
So even though he technically did the right thing by killing the old Mad King, and he still broke his oath and is a man without honor episode title.
Which they snuck in there right at the end.
Yep, which
Very
was good because
sneaky.
I yelled credits and then we got them like 5 minutes later. So yeah.
So, and this brings in Daenerys as well, because I just sort of didn't click because the name Targaryen has been brought up a lot. And this episode, that's Daenerys' last name.
Yeah, I mean, it takes so long to go from Daenerys to Targaryen with all the other things filled in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not asking for direct clarification, because I think I should watch this play out and see how she got here.
Yep. I will find that question at the end for sure. But yeah, all you need to know is, I guess, her family was in charge until Robert Baratheon led a rebellion that overthrew them, and she and her brother escaped, and they're the last living Targaryens.
And I haven't met her brother.
And you haven't met the brother.
There we go.
Yes, for reasons. Dead. I mean, that's no spoiler. Come on. If you don't ever met a character, what are the chances they're just living happily in a cottage somewhere? 0. Unless they're obese.
Yeah.
As we've learned, for some reason.
I missed Hot Pie this episode.
Yeah.
We're not seeing him again, are we?
No, I think we do see him again.
Yay!
I think. I mean, last episode we saw him, they're like, shut up, Hot Pie. They have to establish him as being called Hot Pie at some point. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we see him again. My other potential MVP was between Tyrion and Cecil Lannister, where basically she's doing this really good job of just saying she knows Joffrey's a little shit, but she still loves him because it's her son, and also she just the feelings of being a mother, and that you just have to love your children, basically. And and then Tyrion gets a good line of like, it's tough to put a leash on a dog once you put a crown on its head, which just made me picture a dog with a crown on its head, and that was really funny.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's I'm enjoying that.
But like the idea that the dog would be like, no leash. I got crown now.
I am crowned. I am king. I know what that is now somehow.
Yeah, that's not a really sound metaphor, but you know.
Yeah, but even then, like, Cecil Lannister's kind of breaking up a little bit, and Tyrion like takes a step forward to try and comfort him. There's like, we're just not there. We're not those people. But the intent is there, and I get it that you get that intent from a couple of steps. It's nice. And my other potential MVP was the scene between Sansa and Caesar, again talking about children, and she says, oh, you won't love the king, but you can love the children, and the more people you love, the weaker you are. Love no one but your children. I was like, it's a good bit of this woman who's been at this point forced in this situation and is bitter because of it, not necessarily making the choices to be an absolute bastard,
and probably sort of sees a young her in her. Maybe she thinks of herself that innocent at some point. And
again, just kind of trying to prepare this girl who clearly doesn't know and is so far from her own mother. Again, it's a pairing we don't get a lot of because I don't think they have a scene together after Sansa flees, but while it's there, it's quite nice. It's a interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Also, throwing back to Tywin and Arya, where he goes, you remind me of my daughter. I don't know if that was a burn or a dig or not.
I like to think it was meant as a compliment, that she's very, headstrong and all that kind of stuff. But obviously, Arya, who has Cersei on her kill list, is all like, fuck.
Yeah. Just took it well, though. Took it with a mouthful of mutton.
As one must always. Our next question, nudity! I don't think we had any.
No, I've had a pretty bleak dream from Sansa that...
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a flashback or what's going on there, or if it's just a metaphor for when, she wakes up bleeding, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it was bleak.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what was going on. I was like, oh, did we skip a scene or something? We went from Sansa sleeping to struggling against a bunch of random dudes in a cellar.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Pew. Yeah, that pretty much does it for nudity. Because we don't have that, I'll throw to the
we got a little bit of dude butt where he was getting painted with blood.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, again, on my list of, wait, I forgot about this character entirely and I want to know more.
Melina?
Yeah, pretty much. Melina from Mortal Kombat shows up. This, for those of you playing at home, you might remember there's like this woman who's got like little plates of metal in like a headdress that's all over it. It's really cool looking. Like little hexagon kind of plates. I'm not sure how to describe this, but that's why it's cool, because it's difficult to explain.
Yeah, and she's just got those deep, piercing brown eyes.
Yeah, and a really good scene, although it kind of has the pointless moment because Jorah Mormont rocks up. And first of all, she's painting from a dead goat's eye, which again, Beatles.
Painting from a dead goat's eye.
And then I immediately wrote down, who the fuck is this lady? I'd forgotten all about her. But yeah, has this whole bit where she's painting at the back of a painting the back of a dude. He's not dead, he's breathing.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the point is.
I thought it was one of those on the nose because we just had the scene before of Jaime Lannister talking about the dude's like, he was a painter, he liked to paint in red.
Yeah, man, who the fuck knows? Maybe it was just one of those awful cuts we don't like. But yeah, it has the whole bit of basically kind of being a little mystical. She seems to know Jorah Mormont, knows that he's in love with Daenerys, and then he's all like, well, who stole her dragons? And she's all like, oh, well, whoever stole them is with her right now. And in the next scene, they just tell her. Like the people who did it, it's like, oh, it was us. Hi, what's up?
Yeah. And then the dude from Dungeons and Dragons who wandered into this show.
Who does have purple lips as well. We got a proper close-up on the Warlock dude, and he actually has purple lips. Like, oh, you are giving me flashbacks to that terrible movie. That you can listen to our opinions on One Good Things episode of the Dungeons Dragons movie. Yes, with the polls. Like and subscribe. Yeah, so, but I will say this was a pretty good scene. This does segue nicely into violence. Because they're sitting around having this kind of council meeting, and the one dude who's this obviously opulent guy does have some good points, because he's all like, I'm kind of glad your dragons are missing, girl, because dragons bring nothing but death and chaos. It's like, yeah, you're right, dude. That's, you're being portrayed as like not slovenly, like, your typical obese guy with lots of gold rings. And...
I wrote down, who's this Shakespeare bureaucrat?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. And I would say so we have to refine it. It's not that if you're obese, you get to live. You have to be fat and poor. So if you're fat and rich, also going to die. Yeah, this is how you survive Game of Thrones. We're figuring it out back slowly, but we're getting there. But yeah, they'll just basically tell her, but then all the purple-lipped warlock guys does like a multi-appearance of him. He Agent Smiths his way through, and they all just slit a bunch of people's throats who really don't resist terribly much. Like, okay, it was obviously one of those things on set of like, okay, and then they're all going to step forward and everyone's going to get their throat slit. And no one was like, okay, and you're going to be like a level 3 surprise. You're going to be a level 10 surprise. You're going to be like not expecting it at all. So there's like a difference. Everyone's like, just shing, ah. It's like, you really could have played like someone could have made a break for it and almost gotten away. That would have been dramatic. But instead, it's just kind of goofy in the sense that it's all just so simple and no one resists.
Yeah, well, I mean, as a DM, if everyone crit failed, you'd be like, okay, this is ridiculous. But yeah, you didn't resist. You got your throat slit and it looked weird.
Yeah, sorry for making this too easy. Also, that was a TPK. Goodbye. Yeah, but then Jorah Mormont stabs one of the warlocks in the back, and then he just falls into robes, Obi-Wan Kenobi style. It was neat. It was unexpected.
God, he's so many characters from other shows.
Oh yeah, we've got what you call Sam, the guy from another series. This is like the guy from multiple other series.
Yeah, yeah. He's just like Shang Tsung'd his way into a bunch of different powers. Like, fuck, another one.
I know, another Mortal Kombat. Woo, and another show. Well, just all over the place on this one. And then the other bit of violence we have is Jim Jam Lannister is in a cell with his cousin in a speech that really kind of goes on for a while here. The cousin's all like, I remember when I scried for you that one time, and also I'm going to go on and on and on and on. he did a pretty good job, but it was also like, this is still going. Did that seem long to you, or is that just me? Because I knew what happened.
No, I sort of thought that. I was like, kind of glad that you didn't mention this in MVP discussions, because I thought it was a bit long and drawn out. And also, Jamie's accent actually seemed pretty inconsistent throughout this whole thing. And there were a couple of points where I fucking swear that when they cut to close-ups of Jamie's face, that they were doing like shot replacement. They looked like a completely different lighting, or something was wrong, or I was complaining about HDR issues with my TV before. That might have been it.
Maybe.
But still, there was some weird inconsistencies with Jamie's performance.
Not hard to believe they may have done pickups for close-up after they'd done the rest of the scene. I mean, that's probably what they did. That you don't usually sit your actors there, have them do a wide shot, a mid shot, and then have them continue to sit there while you reset up for a close-up.
It looked like it was done from a different set, though. It's just something about the light was way more white in those scenes than when it was sort of more firelit by the other ones.
Well, I didn't notice, but also I can't notice the difference between Blu-ray and DVD, so I'm not the guy to ask. But then it, ends with a whole, I've got an escape plan. Yes, let me get closer. Well, you're going to have to do one thing for me. Oh, a little bit closer. And what this one thing is, yes, I'm leaning in very close right now. You need to die. Then he attacks him.
I did find that genuinely shocking, though.
Oh, yeah, well, that's good, because I think that's the benefit of having that long conversation between them, is it builds that kind of rapport, and you get a sense of that they're both family, even if they are kind of distant cousins. And it does build up that kind of shock moment. I will say Jamie's dropping far too many hints, especially when he says, you need to die, and then does wait for about 5 seconds before he starts beating this dude. But when he does start beating him, that's hardcore. So, yeah.
Did he have to beat him, though?
I'm not entirely sure, because the guard, then does the typical guard thing of run in and check on the prisoner. It's like, dude, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You're going to run into a cell where one prisoner is lying on the ground, but the other one isn't, and has obviously attacked him, because who else did? And you're not going to ask for backup first before you go in. Also, these are two very high-profile, prisoners they have. They have one dude on guard.
But also so Jamie gets put into prison because of this. He kills this guy, and then he gets put back into prison.
I feel like we missed a scene where he escaped, but didn't get far and got recaptured. Right. And that's when they ride in, and but I think it's kind of unclear. Maybe he just murdered him for shits and gigs.
Well, because they drag him in to see the Lady Stark or whatever.
Yep, Catelyn.
With everybody fucking kicking his ass along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do feel like this scene was pointless in a way.
It feels like there's a scene missing. Did he run and only get so far, or did he get caught when he was trying to escape, or what happened exactly? We just know they've caught him, and it's like, oh, but the last we saw of him, he was still shackled.
Yeah, and I don't get what killing that one guard who, pissed off fucking Warren Ellis, that did for the story, besides pissed off Warren Ellis.
Pissed off Warren Ellis.
Speaking of which, Warren Ellis and Nick Cave's new album is interesting.
Oh, well, interesting is not bad.
It's like EDM ballads.
Okay, that's bad. No, I don't have a lot of tolerance for EDM, but that's me. So Jim Jam does have the good quote there when the cousin's all like, oh, I squatted for you. I don't want to tell you about it. It's embarrassing. He's like, more embarrassing than being chained to a post covered in your own shit. So next time you're out there and you may have embarrassed yourself, just think, was this more embarrassing than being chained to a post covered in your own shit?
It was the most uncomfortable jackass stunt, that's for sure.
It's like, well, I don't know what we thought we were doing here. I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is being tied to a post covered in your own shit. It's kind of already done. Cut?
Yeah. Jackass 4 coming into cinemas later this year.
Oh, really?
I am not joking.
Wow, I thought it'd be too old.
Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville have both already been hospitalized due to onset injuries.
That's what you want out of a Jackass sequel, I guess.
I hope they all live to tell the tale.
We do. But, oh well, if they don't, it's their own fault. Well, any quotable moments you'd like to bring up?
Quotable moments. Nah, fuck. I think we cut. I generally get that out of the way in. And then the rest of it's
MVP.
deciphering my notes.
Yep. I did quite like, there's a bit where, let's see, Theon's talking about whatever stuff, and he says, it's better be cruel than weak. It's like, I don't want to believe that, but it probably is.
Oh, actually, quotable moments. Fucking Aloy just goading John. Fucking, all of this is delicious.
John Bon Boner.
Yeah.
Because they wake up huddled together, and she's like, oh, is that a knife in my back there, Jon Snow? Oh, it's not. It's your penis.
That Game of Thrones equivalent, is that a blank in your pocket, or are you
just happy to see me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though it's not a metaphor for anything, I'm going to call this cock talk so I can do this. We now have, that was the sound of the official, what's that, it's this, it's cock talk, zipper.
So you can, at home, can have your own cock talk segment.
Yeah, if we ever get merchandising going, we'll just sell the official zipper. Anything else is just a zipper.
Sign up to the SideQuest Studios Patreon to get yours today.
Yeah, we have to, if we get, the highest tier patrons for 3 months, they get a merch pack. Does it have the zipper in it? Fucked if I know. But hey, why not? Hopefully that came up on mic.
Is there a way that we can put a bit of fabric behind the zip? So on the top layer of the zip it said, what's that? And then on the bottom it's this. And then when you unzip you see it's cock
God,
talk.
I hope so. Let me talk to a seamstress. We'll figure it out. But yeah, she just taunts him the entire way. She's all like, don't they get swollen? Do they not have women there? They're no female crows. And goes on. But does have eventually a good point of, we're free people. You've taken this oath, but why? What benefit does it have other than making you grouchy?
Giving him blue snowballs.
Yeah, ooh, nice. Yeah, and I wrote down this was Python-esque for some reason, but I don't remember why. Oh, yeah, because they have this whole debate where it's like she's like, I'm a free woman. He's like, oh, you're not a free woman. You're my captain. It's like, yeah, I'm your prisoner, but I'm free. He's like, you're not free. No, but it's different. It's semantics.
Yeah, I wrote in mine, that SpongeBob meme and people write in alternating caps and lowercase? Yeah, who's the real prisoner? It did feel a bit derpy from that. Is just like, but your honor makes you a prisoner. I'm a free person. And I just felt like it's like, yeah, I get it. This is a bit overwrought. And that they return to it was a bit annoying, but then it turns into Aloy teasing John relentlessly is fucking amazing.
I think she sells it really, really well. The kind of, childish playfulness she puts behind it while also just being just that little bit bitchy. It's great.
And once again, the Game of Thrones standard that she's adhering to is like, okay, not straight, not fucking man. Into bestiality it is then.
It's like, for God's sakes, that is not the 3 types of sex. We've covered this in episode 4. Whatever it was. Yeah, no, again, I enjoyed all that kind of back and forthing on that. We do get I think this might be the very first version of You Know Nothing, Jon Snow, about fucking.
Yep.
But, yep, I was like, is this the first one? I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah. And the way she throws it back at him, he's like, turn it back around. And he's like, that's what you said to me when you're fucking me. Ha
Ooh, ha ha ha.
Gosh, I love the dialogue here. It's so funny.
Yeah, and then her quote of, are you afraid of it? It doesn't have teeth.
Yeah.
Nice. But I do like the John, when she's trying to get him a little bit closer, he doesn't fall for it. He kind of pushes her away, and then she's like, well, screw it, and kind of grabs her and pulls and gets away that way. I do like that he didn't fall for it. He just then fell down anyway. But, I appreciate...
didn't fall for it, but fell.
Yeah. He
from it.
Fell. Yep. Let's see. That is, I think, most of my notes on Jon Snow. I'm just going to go through, look for what I haven't yelled about yet.
Yep. Theon, apparently his last lay was with Wildling, the only adult in the Scooby Gang.
Yeah, I know. So before, the kind of lay with Miranda before Chop Chop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does wake up and she's not there, and then he's all like, you let a crippled boy and a giant escape. He's like, well, they must have escaped with that Wildling woman you were fucking. And he's all like, I don't know how to respond to this. I'm just going to punch you.
I thought that was interesting, that scene that they showed him get really hurt on his hands, like, I've got to keep this up, and just kicks the living shit out of the dude.
Yeah, exactly. Can't show weakness. Better to be cruel than weak, as he says later. So, yeah, I think that does play into just how inept he is at handling this. And I think that does very well for that. Because, the guy has a point, but he's like, you slighted me, I'm going to beat you, but ow, that hurt. Why do people punch each other? God, that just always use a sword or something. That's ridiculous. What else? Oh, yeah. So there was a bit of a Dan Brady Days of Our Lives kind of moment.
Thank you.
And I feel like you already know the bit where she's walking through a room looking at the empty cages where dragons should have been, and Jorah Mon rocks up and he's all like, I should have been here to protect you. And she's like, blah, blah. So, there's even a bit where they do the one person standing in the foreground, one person standing in the background out of focus. I'm like, Wow. And then I'm trying to like, okay, what's better here? I went eventually with Days of Our Dragons.
Oh, yeah.
But, also Dragons of Our Lives or Games of Our Lives. They're all possibilities.
The Balding and the Beautiful.
Nice.
Like, I had that fucking, like, I'm so glad you made that comparison because that shot was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was so undercutting any drama they were trying to milk out of this scene. It was so stupid.
Like even the scripting and the staging and even the performance was just so melodramatic. Oh, my dragons. Oh, I'll protect you. But however can you protect me?
And I'm trying not to have a bias on these scenes, like, because I already, I've mentioned how much I don't like them, but fuck, it's like, thank you. You took the words out of my mouth. And also, like, when you're talking to someone and they've got their back to you and they're talking, it's actually legitimately hard to hear them sometimes.
Yeah. I imagine I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say this is like a stone room and therefore very echoey.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're like, okay, I don't know how you expect me to hear you right now.
But yeah, some of, like, perception of human speech is being able to see the lips move. But anyway, this
we say on a podcast.
I hope you heard that.
Yeah, I do remember a lot of people making fun of this general mood of just her where are my dragons kind of thing. And it's, this is why. It's just some parts.
Was it Veruca Salt that was?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I want my dragons and I want my dragons now and an Oompa Loompa.
And as well, if we're on Daenerys Braid Watch as well, she's clearly in a mood because, her braids are completely out. They're frazzled. It's like when you see your girlfriends who just came back from Bali or something and they got their hair tightly braided. They took it out and they've got a white girl afro going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we know it's confidence-based, and now that her dragons are stolen, she's just ruined. So, I mean, theory confirmed as far as I'm concerned. Yes, we do have a bit of Jim Jam Lannister when he's all with his cousin the first time. He's all like, which family are you from again? Oh, I'm the son of this woman. Is she the fat one? It's like, oh, your mama's so fat. Jim Jam Lannister has heard of her.
I'm not going there.
I think my last note here. Oh wait, no, go on. So he has a good bit later when he's talking to Catelyn. He's like, you're a man without honor. And then he has the moment of, honor. You just take so many oaths. You're meant to serve your father, and then you're meant to serve the king, and you're meant to protect the innocent. But what if your father hates the king? And what if the king is slaughtering innocents? What do you do then? And it's like,
so I like Jaime's scene with the Stark lady.
Yeah, that one's really good.
The ladies.
The Lady Stark, not Stark Lady. Lady Milady.
And I should address her as my lady. As we have learned, the apostrophe is for royal familiar.
Well, yeah. We've learned something today, I guess. Whatever. Yeah. And I think my last note here, and I've lost it, so bear with. It's a great line from Brienne of Tarth where someone tries to walk into Catelyn's tent and she stops and he goes, get your hands off me, woman. And she goes, you're not allowed in without an invite, man. It's like,
God, fucking love Brienne.
Yeah, the fact that I don't think we're going to get any more Sass Queen, I'll take Sassy Brienne. It's not quite the same, but it's still very good.
Sass Knight. Fuck yeah. My only other note is that this episode is continuing another observation that I've noticed, particularly in Season 2, that the first half of the episode seems to be really chopping and changing very quickly between the stories. And I think it's trying to resolve the tension of the last episode's longer scenes at the end. And I'm sort of trying to take a mental note of that going into the next episode if that's what happens. Because, they really seem to leave the drawn-out conversational scenes, especially in this episode, towards the end. And I felt like I noticed that last time. So, I'm going to look forward to that, look backward to that going forward.
It would be interesting to talk to a TV editor and see, is it actually better to front load with your quick change scenes, or is that better to keep towards the end to like liven things up a little bit after you've maybe had a lot of talky? Yeah, because I'd imagine the idea is establish where everyone is and what's going on and what stories we're going to tell this episode, and then spend a little bit more time with each of those once they're established. But I'm just curious, is there a methodology behind doing it in reverse?
Yeah. Well, I do want, I'm curious to even talk to the editors and sort of storyboarders of this show to because I felt like they realized this at some point, and they just sort of, in episodes in later seasons, would sort of just do 7 set pieces, one after the other, and not much chopping and changing in between. Like, because I do feel like it's a little disorientating.
Yeah,
Like,
it can be like, okay, where are we and what are we doing again? All right.
yeah, because like we switched to the John and Aloy stuff like 3 times, and it's like, yeah, for an hour show, I feel like they could have cut that down to 2 scenes tops.
Yeah, well, I agree. But I mean, again, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe if we watched it, it would be not as good. I don't know enough about editing to really comment on that.
And the only other scene we got was Rob meeting the nurse. Who's that fucking Stark that dies?
Rob.
Yeah.
I mean, most of them, but Rob.
Yeah, true.
Red Wedding Rob. Well, that's tough. Red Wedding Rob.
Red Wedding Rob. Ooh.
Yep.
Flipping back to the R after wedding.
Yeah.
Red Wedding Rob.
Red Wedding Rob. Try it at home. So I wrote this down as well as a scene, but not really a lot happens other than, she's all like, I need medical supplies to help the men and also the enemy men because they're not my enemies. They're just wounded people. And he's all like, well, I've got the hots for you, so I'll allow that. And that's about it.
Yep. And that sets up the scene where they go walking through the very windy place.
Yeah. Although she does pronounce Meister wrong. She says Meister. And I'm like, is that meant to be a dialect thing or did you just fuck it up?
Yeah.
Curious.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, whatever. It's just something that a guy on a podcast noticed.
Yep.
I'm sure she'll be racked with guilt.
That's a very good name for a podcast. A guy on a podcast noticed. It would be a good Game of Thrones one as well, especially in reference to a guy on a podcast noticed.
It's got to be with that tone of voice, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I can't remember who originally said it, but I first heard it from you that the collective noun for a group of white dudes is a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's painfully true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which brings us to this part of the this part of the White Guy podcast. Do you have any other notes, or is
That's it?
That checks you out. Well, then we ask our final question. How did we get here?
All right. Well, someone told me that the next episode is called "The Old Gods and the New." So this is going to be a cut, like a breakaway from all the stories we've seen in Game of Thrones, and kind of like almost like it feels like a backdoor pilot for another show. But anyway, we're going to go up to heaven and see all the old gods and the new and the incoming gods that are taking over the heaven.
So it'll be like a sitcom. It'll be like, well, I've been a god here for a long time. I don't care for these young whippersnappers that have moved in next door.
Lord of Light is going to be arguing with the new god, the god of tits and wine. And, yeah.
The 16-titted god of wine.
So much fun.
Yeah, it'll be like, look, I know you're the Lord of Light. Can you turn it down? I'm trying to sleep.
Lord of Light just looking down at fucking the red. That is not what I meant at all.
Oh my god, she's burning people again. Jeez.
Light, you are thinking of the god of fire. That is another guy.
Very different things. Yeah, I'm sure it's all wacky hijinks from here on out. Well, until next time, I've been... I nearly said I've been Elliot Jay O'Neill in my dreams. I've been BT Calloway. That's been Elliot Jay O'Neill.
Goodbye!
And for now, our watch has ended.